crap. All right, you've got the dreaded tire light on. Now what? We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about the tires. We're going to talk about the TPMS system and give you a quick 30,000 foot overview and tell you what you should do if that tire light should come on. If this is your first time here, I'm glad you're here. I'll give you a quick 30,000 foot overview of who I am. My name is Brian, and I am an ASE certified master technician of over 25 years. One of the things that I do as a mechanic is I take care of a fleet of about 70 trucks, and we have at any given time about 350 tires rolling on the ground at any given time. So I have a lot of experience in dealing with tires. We work on those trucks A to Z, but tires is probably one of the biggest expenses and one of the biggest things that we have to deal with. So let's get into this and we'll start talking about what we got going on here. We've got the dreaded low tire light on, as you can see right over here, okay? And then you have your dash display, which shows the operating PSI of your tires at the moment. Now, let me explain what's going on here. Do you notice how they're dashed out? Okay, what happens is, in order to save and prolong the life of the battery that is in the TPMS sensor, which is attached to the valve stem and is inside each wheel, the sensors actually go to sleep and quit sending the signal to the control module on the vehicle. But the control module maintains its memory, and as you can see on that right rear wheel, it indicated the last time this vehicle was run that there was a problem, and it indicates by lighting up red, okay? And once you drive the vehicle, say a block and a half, the tire pressures will come back up and display and show you what the actual pressure is in the tire. So let's go get these sensors to wake up, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more. All right, there we go. We got the sensors to wake up, and as you can see on the screen, the right rear tire is about 6 to 7 pounds lower than the other tires on the vehicle. In this case, I have known about this tire being low for about a week. My wife texted me and let me know that we did have a low tire. So what I told her is to monitor it and to make sure that it was not continuing to drop in PSI. It has remained basically stable between 26 to 27 pounds all week. It hasn't gone down. So today we're going to get in here and we're going to take a look at the tire and see if we can figure out exactly what's going on. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have something in the tire, but it could. So let's go take a look at it. All right, so what we're going to do in order to check this tire, what we need to do is we need to have the park brake off. So I've cranked up the vehicle. We're going to come down here to the park brake indicator and we're going to push off. Okay, and now you can turn off the vehicle. All right, what I have also done, and if you have one you can do it, and otherwise you can use the jack that comes with the vehicle. Just a caution of safety, do not get under a vehicle with it only supported on the jack. The tire is still in place, so it won't cause any problems should anything have happened. But in order that I check this tire, I need to be able to turn it. So your park brake needs to be disengaged so that you can spin the tire and check for any debris that is located in the tread. Just looking through the wheel well right here, it's a little more difficult to see the whole face of the tire. What I usually tell people to do is to get down here on the front edge of the tire, and do not get under the vehicle, but you can turn the tire and look at the tread face and see if you have any debris in the tire. So we're going to take a minute and do that and see if I can locate any reason why this tire is going down. All right, so I have gone and spun the tire a couple of times, and I've looked, and I do not see anything in the tire itself which would cause it to be getting lower. Now, with that said, sometimes what happens, particularly with aluminum wheels, they will seep air over time. It is a little odd that this particular one is more so than the others. But I do not see anything in the tire at this time, so protocol at this point is to bring the tire up to the proper pressure and monitor it for over the next week or two and see if it goes down again. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we said that the current protocol is to air up the tire and monitor it for the next week or two. So in the next week or two, if this tire should go down again, what you should do is seek help at your dealer or a local tire professional to have the tire examined and determine why it's going down. All right, well, we've got our stick gauge and our air chuck. This is called an air chuck. It's what's used to engage your valve stem and put air in the tire. Let's go ahead and hook it up. I've got just a little cheap stick gauge. This one is came with a kit. Let's go ahead and put about 10 seconds worth of air. Ballpark. That brought us up to right at 34. Let's put about 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5. Let's put about 5 more seconds. And there we go. That brought us up to 36 PSI. Make sure you put your cap back on. Quick note about these caps. The plastic caps that are on these wheels are not designed to actually prevent the valve stem from leaking. Is to keep dirt and debris, mud and garbage from getting up in your valve stem and possibly causing it, when you go to check it, to get debris or anything inside your valve stem. Or like when you put your chuck on, to force dirt or any debris into the valve stem. So that's why you need to make sure that you have good caps back on your valve stems. All right, let's take a quick minute here and we'll talk about the TPMS system, in particular the one on this 21 Highlander. As I mentioned in the video at the beginning, each position on the vehicle has a TPMS sensor that tells the module on the vehicle how many pounds are in each tire. As a general rule of thumb, when a tire drops 5 psi below the set pressure, which is on your door tag, and in this case on this vehicle, the tire pressure is 36 pounds. So once you reach the 5 to 6 pound threshold, that is when it's going to indicate that you have a tire that is low on the vehicle. So what do you do once you have that tire pressure light come on? With this vehicle, all that is required is that you bring the pressure back up in the tire, back to the specified pressure, and as soon as you drive it the very first time, it will automatically reset and the light will go out on the dash and everything will be hunky-dory. Now, let's go with, you have aired the tire up. You do know that by the pressure gauge that the pressure is at the correct level. It's at what it's supposed to be. And you drive the vehicle, but the tire light doesn't go out. Now you have a TPMS error. Most of the TPMS errors that I see is a failed TPMS sensor in the wheel. This vehicle is new enough. TPMS sensors, depending on how you drive it and how you use your vehicle, TPMS sensors will last 5 to 6 years, like I said, depending on how you use the vehicle. If you have a TPMS sensor failure and they are all in the 5 to 6 year range and you have one fail, go ahead and replace all 4. Now, this brings me to another topic. Some vehicles have a TPMS sensor located in the spare tire. This 21 Highlander does not. The TPMS sensor in a spare tire will throw the dash light on and indicate that you have a low tire when all the other four are fine and are registered and working to the vehicle. So when you're airing up your tires, it's best that if you should go in and make sure that your spare tire is aired up to the proper PSI. In the particular case of this vehicle, spare tire pressure, since it's on a donut style tire, is 60 PSI. Alright guys, future Brian here. Forgot to add something that I really wanted to talk to you about. One of the main things that you need to keep in mind with tire pressures is outside air temperature. So let's go over that real quick. Whenever you have a temperature decrease, for every 10 degrees of temperature decrease, you end up with a 1 PSI decrease in tire pressure. And as the air temperature on the outside goes up for every 10 degrees, you have a 1 PSI increase in tire pressure. So, along with that is another factor of when you're driving the vehicle, and as your tires through friction and from the heat of the road heat up, your tire pressure will actually increase 1 to 5 PSI, depending on the part of the country you're in and what the temperature rise is. Just wanted to throw that in there. So, you know, a lot of times tire light will come on, especially when you get temperatures start dropping, get into winter time, and you come out and the tire pressure light's on. May not necessarily mean that there's anything wrong. It could just be because the cold weather and the pressure drop in the tires. So just wanted to throw that in there. All right, let's see if the tire pressure light is going to go out, if the sensors are still awake, or we're going to have to drive it just a little bit and see if they'll go out. Nope, they're not awake, so we're going to have to drive it just a little bit and they should go out. Well, as luck would have it, I missed this changeover of the tire light going out and the pressures coming up. They woke up when I went inside the house for a minute to get something before we left. But as you can see, all the pressures are up, and you can see that they are different PSIs. You can eliminate some of that by getting a digital pressure gauge. That will help to dial in an exact pressure. Using a stick gauge, it's not quite as accurate, but I guarantee you, when I go drive this vehicle and the tires warm up, everybody will come around and be happy. I will go back in and I will try to get these tires all to the 36-pound cold inflation mark. All right, real quick, I wanted to throw this safety precaution in there. If your tire's over 10 pounds low on pressure, it is not advised that you drive it until you can bring it back up to the proper pressure. I would suggest that you pull out your owner's manual and heed any precautions that are outlined about tires in your owner's manual. Also, I'd like to say is if your tire is all the way down, it is completely flat, there's no air left in it, do not drive on this tire. Do not move it any distance at all. If you can absolutely avoid it, with the weight of the vehicle between the aluminum rim or steel, depending on which kind of wheels you have, and the sidewall of the tire can cause the tire to be damaged beyond repair, and the only way you can fix it is to replace the tire. So if the tire is all the way down, do not drive on it. All right, so there you go. I hope that helps you figure out what to do when your low tire pressure light comes on. Don't panic. It's not a big deal. A lot of times when we have temperature drop outside, your tire pressure light will come on. So just top those tires off and keep rolling. So until I can get up another video, why don't you go watch another one coming on the screen right now?